Ariel Garten, and I'm going to take you for a moment into a research lab at the University of Toronto. The year is 1921. An untrained research scientist, Frederick Banting, and his student assistant that had been assigned to him, Charles Best, began investigating new ways to isolate secretions from the pancreas. What they and their colleagues discovered, of course, was insulin, the antidote to crippling diabetes. Insulin has fundamentally saved tens of millions of lives. Many of us know that that life-saving innovation came from Canada. But what about another life-saving innovation? Pablum, that weird white baby food. It was invented at St. Kitts Hospital and immediately decreased the death toll of the kids there. Or what about a much simpler one? The paint roller. Canadian innovation. Or the Robertson screwdriver. Tired of slipping screwdrivers? Robertson solved the problem. Or the Jolly Jumper. Invented by a Canadian mom in the 1900s. With her creative spirit, she made it from diaper pins and a spring and a good old axe handle. So each of these are ordinary people with good ideas that they brought to life. Canadians, it turns out, are incredibly innovative people. Yeah. We're moving from single innovations to an innovation economy, where the fact that an innovation was Canadian doesn't have to seem like a weird and surprising thing. We already have over 5,000 startups in Canada, a thriving ecosystem that has produced amazing companies like Hydrostore. They're storing power from wind turbines in giant balloons under the water, and Deep Genomics using artificial intelligence to identify the next blockbuster drug. I had an amazing American entrepreneur friend who enviously pointed out to me that in Canada, compared to the US, it's easier to be a risk taker. That sounded weird, but we have an important ingredient here: universal health care. In the US, citizens become tied to working for others inside of a company because your employer is responsible for your health care. Here, with health care covered, it's actually much easier and safer to go out and take the risk on your own. And with our social safety net, if your venture fails, you can never fall that far. And we also have amazing accelerators and incubators like Mars and Tech Edmonton to help you learn how to bring your idea to life, and private capital willing to invest, and a government whose platform is driving innovation and has allocated $1 billion to startups and scale-ups and universities and more to ensure Canada and innovation are synonymous with each other around the world, and that we're going to have the quality of life and the economy that benefits from it. There has never been a better time to be an innovator here. I was one of those risk-taking Canadian entrepreneurs who kind of threw it all to the wind. I was always fascinated by the brain, and after university began collaborating with a friend of mine's professor, Dr. Steve Mann. He's one of the inventors of the wearable computer, and, go figure, Canadian. We were using an early brain-computer interface to let people interact with things directly with their mind. We used EEG, the same technology that you use in a hospital, where a doctor would see a printout of your brain. But instead of that trace going onto a piece of paper, we took the output and associated it with sounds so that we could actually hear what goes on inside your brain. Once your brain activity was translated into sound, you could then start to willfully modify it. I remember the first time I slipped on an EEG lead and focused my brain, and the sound went brrrr. And then I went, oh my God, and I relaxed my brain, and the sound went brrrr. And I thought, this is totally crazy. We're controlling the world with our mind, and the world needs to know about it. I need to take this innovation out of the lab and into the world pronto. So I got together with my good friends Chris and Trevor, and we formed a startup. And like all good startups, we started in Trevor's basement. We would get together week after week and come up with ideas for our business. And we sat down and we thought, what is the biggest thing that we can do to show people the power of their own minds? Well, it turns out that it was 2009, and the Olympics was coming to Vancouver the next year. So we put together a proposal to let people control the lights on the biggest things we could think of. Literally, the CN Tower, Canadian Parliament buildings, and Niagara Falls, and to do it with their brain from across the country. If this idea sounds totally insane, it really was. We were a tiny team of 3 people with an unproven technology working across what turned out to be multiple levels of government on a fixed deadline for the Olympics to control some of the most important landmarks with your mind. And it turned out that we succeeded. For the 17 days of the Olympics, 7,000 people got to individually interact with these icons and direct them with their brain. You'd sit in Vancouver and you'd hear somebody on a cell phone calling back to Toronto and say, "Look up at the tower, that's Dad doing it. The lights, that's Dad doing it." So after you do something for the Olympics, you kind of think you can do anything. And so we set about to do thought-controlled slot car machines. We made a thought-controlled toaster. We made a thought-controlled beer tap. Yes, you really want to pour beer with your mind. It truly is fun, actually. But regardless of how fun a thought-controlled beer tap may be, we really wanted to create something that was going to make an impactful and meaningful change in one another's lives. So that's where we brought in mindfulness. It had been proven in over 1,000 journal articles to make us healthier and happier. But frankly, it can be really hard to do. You go to your doctor and he tells you to meditate to decrease your stress, or your friend seems to be meditating and it's really made changes in your life, but you have no idea how to do it. So we created this. This is Muse, the brain-sensing headband. It's a clinical-grade EEG, the same thing that's in a hospital, in this slim, sweet little form factor. Nifty wearable device. And it tracks your brain during meditation and turns your meditation into sound, so you can actually hear what goes on inside your mind while you meditate. It gives you real-time feedback, and then it gives you data that shows you every moment how your meditation was going and tracks you over time so you can see how you're improving. Now, tens of thousands of people all over the world use it every day to do things like decrease their stress, improve their attention. And we get to hear amazing stories, like from a gentleman overcoming his journey to recovery and shutting down the negative demons in his own mind by learning to control those internal voices. Or a firefighter being able to decrease his stress and go back to work the next day. Or a mom being kinder to her kid. Or one of our Olympians who uses Muse to quiet the mental fears and was able to focus and get the gold. We also have 120 different research institutions using it, like the Mayo Clinic using it for breast cancer patients to decrease their stress after surgery. All of this from an idea, and support from Canada and the network of mentors and research partners and programs that helped us make something that seemed totally impossible a scientific and technical reality. And the incredible, innovative Canadians from amazing universities who joined our team. And our little Canadian innovation is now available in Best Buy across Canada, and in the US, and also around the world. We make a product that helps you deal with what's in your mind, the limitations, the no's, so that you can turn it to a yes and accomplish whatever it is that you want to. Because the most innovative thing about Canada is us. The people who were born here and figured out how to live in this amazing but treacherous land. And the rest of us who are ourselves immigrants or descendants from immigrants, the brave risk takers who had the gall and the gumption to come here from other countries, who are willing to pick up and come to something new, a new land, a new world, a new idea. It's in our blood. By definition now, we are a nation of innovators. And that means each and every one of you in the audience. In each one of you is the ability to make something move with your mind, to have an idea and bring it to reality. No matter how small you think it is, to take that thing that you thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, or wouldn't it be easier if, and putter around a bit, whether it's with some diaper pins and a spring or a few lines of code, and put some things together and see what happens. And this is how we, all together, have made the extraordinary innovative place that we call home, and how we will innovate our future. Thank you.